Who's there?
Hello. Hey everybody, this is Emily Clark here, and welcome back to ESFI World. It's happening. The city that looks out to steal you from the ones you left behind. You're right for tearing us apart. There must be some way, but it's too late, too late. Say it ain't so, 'cause I know it's been a long road, and we got a ways to go. Say it ain't so, 'cause I know it's been a long road, and we got a ways to go. Must have told you half a billion times for what's in your life. Please take my advice. Must have told you half a billion times for what's in your life. Please take my advice.
Hooray! Do I look like a Jedi?
All right, and we are live. Hello, viewers. Emily Clark here, and welcome back to ESFI's Roll Call. This happens to be our 6th episode and a very special one as well. Tonight, I am joined by the co-host of MLG's Weekly Warfare, Alex Goldenboy Mendez, as well as Corey Dunn, who is co-host of ESEA News FPS show Choke Point, as well as the commentator for MLG Black Ops 2011 season. Later on in the show, we will also have guests that CoD Black Ops pros RevaN and Nadeshot join in as a discussion as well. Goldenboy, go ahead and take it away.
What's up, guys? How's it going here? You guys know my voice already. My name is Goldenboy FTW, and yeah, you know, I've been reading a lot on the forums, and I shouldn't say in the forums, really on Twitter, because that's where it seems to be the overall discussion happening that Call of Duty is dead, and today I actually want to address that, and I think that we all need to talk about it. It's very, very important. You know, it just sucks to see that and to have to read it and to see all the negativity out there when there's so many people, I would say awesome people trying to do amazing things out there in the community. And of course, join with me as a person who I personally believe is the next coming of greatness, and Jesus is Corey Dunn. So, Corey, do you hear me? I want to make sure you're good. I cannot hear Corey. Is he alive? Corey, unmute your mic if you can.
Or Don, you're making me upset right now. I want to hear you.
Are you really upset? Like, are we talking like
pissed off
buku,
right now,
buku
bro.
upset? Like, mucho upset? There you go.
My stomach is in my throat right now.
Hopefully now we're all good now, right? We're all
We're good. What's up, Corey?
What's going on, guys? You know, Goldenboy messaged me last night asking if I wanted to hop on here and kind of discuss things. And I think this is the perfect opportunity to kind of talk about what's going on with the Call of Duty scene, because one thing's for sure, Call of Duty's not dead. It's just not on the Winter Championships this season for the first go-around or the first quarter. So, you know, there's a lot to kind of take in consideration whenever we're looking at this, what's to go in the future and so forth and so on. So, you know, I guess we're kind of throwing it around the horn. I think it's let's throw it over to, I like RevaN better. Yep, we're going to throw it over to RevaN.
Oh, slap in the
Okay,
face.
guys. I just have to start off by saying the sky is not falling. It's okay. We haven't started our season this early, and MLG. Goldenboy, do you have a rule book on you by any chance? Because where is it in the rules that MLG is the only league that we could play in?
Exactly.
Is that in the rule book anywhere? I don't think so.
You're right, and that's part of the problem. I think that, you know, one of the tweets that I read came from a player named Carbine, good guy, you know, I like him a lot, but, you know, he was over here saying, since MLG isn't picking the game up, why isn't, you know, are we doomed until 2013? And then, alternatively, another player that I know, Janitor, responded that there's no point in playing. I mean, seriously, there is so many awesome opportunities out there for people to compete all over the place. Like, for example, and I was saying it in my blog post, that you have Cybersports Network, Beyond Gaming, for just like some good quality online tournaments.
If I could just butt in for high quality, Machinima Frag Hub, $10,000.
Exactly, and I was going to get to that too.
Are you going to tell me you're not going to play for $10,000? Okay, I'll play.
Yeah, exactly, and it's absurd to have to hear that and have to hear people actually believe that Call of Duty is dead. You see. And this isn't a slap to the Halo community by any means whatsoever. And to be completely honest with you, I thoroughly believe that the Halo Council was one of the greatest ideas ever conceived, and, you know, the right people did it, you know, and made it happen. But Call of Duty has resources. We have a viewer base outside of MLG. Unlike Halo, unfortunately, that needs to develop that. And even Gears of War to a lesser extent, but now that they have Hyperstation, they're starting to develop more. We have Machinima. We have those outlets. Most of our pro players are partnered with Machinima, you know, and there's always going to be content going out there on a regular basis. I just think people are losing sight of that, and they think, oh, MLG doesn't have it, so we're dead. No, come on, bro. It's like, that's insane.
I completely agree with you, Goldenboy.
There you go.
I completely agree with you, but I just want to butt in here real quick. I love MLG. I love the company. I love what they've done for esports and gaming. And even though they didn't intend to, I honestly thought it was a slap in the face to throw an $800 GB March Madness tournament in our faces in that same article. I definitely think they did a poor job of advertising that tournament, even though it's not really relevant to anything we're talking about right now.
No, but you're right, though. You're right.
I just want to bring up the fact that they brought up basically some people perceived it as, here's your replacement tournament. You're not going to MLG Columbus, so here's an $800 tournament to play while we all compete at Columbus at this huge event. And not only do I think that MLG could have done something a little more, obviously they didn't get the developer support from Infinity Ward. I definitely think we had other viable options for Major League Gaming. I think they could have ran a 8-team or 16-team invite-only and hosted it on the online server. I'm not sure if there's any legalities involved with that, with Microsoft or Sony hosting such a tournament online, whether it be on Sony Network or Xbox Live. I just definitely think there was more that they could have done for us. Am I going to sit here and, you know, bask in the fact that we're not on the circuit? No, I mean, I'm going to look for other outlets to compete. Like you guys said, Machinima, Cybersports.net, 360 Icons, other places like that.
Yeah.
I definitely think they could have done a little more to sort of bring us on board and show that they support Call of Duty for the season. Obviously, Weekly Warfare was a good start, but in my honest opinion, I definitely think they could have done just a little bit more, and you just had some sort of event at the MLG Columbus event.
I think the worst part about that online tournament is that it's search and destroy only. It's not even variant.
Yeah. I really don't think they're sending a lot of their resources toward Call of Duty. Obviously, I can't say that because they did bring on Weekly Warfare, but it's kind of feel like we've been thrown to the back of the bus. I mean, we can't complain because Gears of War wasn't picked up either, but the fact that Call of Duty had better stream numbers than Halo at 2 events last year, and it was our first time on the season, can you imagine what we would have done for Columbus with Modern Warfare 3, the biggest release in entertainment history, as well as we have over 31,000 competitors on or 31,000 teams on the GB ladder, not competitors. So you take 31,000, multiply that by 4, that's a lot of players, guys. I mean, Killer KC even tweeted out, hey, if you want to show your support for MLG, go ahead and sign up for the ladder for Halo 3. What else do we got to do to show people that we're here? We're here to make a difference in the community. We're here to improve ourselves as a competitive community. And if we're not going to get the opportunities, then we're not going to grow. That's just plain and simple.
Yeah, I agree. And that's this is going to go back to the $800 tournament real quick. One of the big issues that I have with it, and I'm just going to let you guys know in the chat and be very, very honest with you, I literally fought for that tournament to be moved because the fact is that Cybersports Network had announced their tournament a month prior, okay? And I emailed them, I messaged them on GB, direct messaged the Twitter account, talked to Puckett, did everything, and they literally just did not want to make the move. And oh, sorry, I just heard some reverb. But yeah, they could not move it, and that's fine. You know, what's done is done. But the thing is that if you guys don't want to play in that GB tournament, which I'm not saying don't, because obviously all tournaments are good to have, and I don't know what's going on with Justin's mic here, but it's kind of muted.
Yeah, somebody's got some bad feedback.
Yeah. Anyway, it just sounds hilarious on my end because you sound.
I think it's Justin's mic.
Yeah, it's Justin's mic.
Hey, Justin, you got the mic if you can hear us.
There you go.
All right, there we go. Sorry about that,
That
guys.
solved that problem. All right, so you know it's not necessarily an issue about the GB having their own tournament, and I mean it is what it is. They're going to put an $800 tournament, it's fine, but there are plenty of opportunities for people to compete all over the place, and that people are losing sight of that. I think the Frag Cup is probably going to be the biggest thing that we are going to have right now in this particular quarter, and of course the option for LAN isn't completely gone. I'm not hopeful, to be completely honest with you guys. I'm not hopeful that LAN will be implemented, but I am hopeful that we can continue as a community and continue to grow. So anyone want to take it away from there?
No, I agree with you, and I kind of want to get into Infinity Ward as a company and what they've done for community support. I honestly think it's pitiful, the fact that they could not take a day or two out of their time. I know that they are, they're catering to the public players. That's who bought their game. That's who wants to play. And the competitive community is so small in their eyes. But the fact of the matter is we've been asking for about 3 or 4 years for such small changes. And the fact that 402, the only response that he gave back to us out of all the tweets that we sent to him was that they had it on the feature list for the past couple months and they're working towards it. That's just the general community manager response. He doesn't want to get into it. He does not want to confront the community. He does not want to give them something they don't want to hear. He gave the letter book answer, by the book. Here's what's going on.
And that's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to do because
he's
the community manager
for
going to say
Infinity
the
Ward.
positive thing.
But the fact that he's responding to people about FMG9s that are too overpowered, we're adding an infection list. Obviously, I know that they're catering towards the people who bought their game and the public, the general population. But come on, man. I talked to 4 of your developers at Call of Duty XP. You shook me in the hand and you told me that you were going to make these changes for us. You brought us in the back of the room. We talked to 4 of your people. They shook my hand. They took down everything that we needed on a notepad. Myself, Big Timer, Vengeance, and Merc literally gave them a list of all the small things that we need. There's about 5 things on that list. They said, oh, that's definitely possible. We're going to make that happen for you guys because we love this competitive atmosphere that Call of Duty XP brought to our game. We're going to do this for you. Has it been done? No, it hasn't. The fact they're making promises they can't come through on. Just small changes. And I really think that we need to take a step back and look at what David Vonnegut from Treyarch did for us, and we need to be kissing his feet. He is the man. I know him on a personal level. He's a great guy, and he has done wonders for our community, and I really think we need to take a second or two and just really appreciate and value what he did for us, what he did for Treyarch. I'm sorry, what Treyarch did for us. And, you know, he's a stand-up guy, and everybody at Treyarch, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for giving us the opportunity to compete at the level that we did last year. It was amazing. I hope we do it again. Black Ops 2, I don't know what the title is going to be, but I really, no matter what happens in the 2012 season, I cannot wait to see you guys in 2013 on the MLG Pro Circuit.
Yep, I agree. Corey,
how do you like
your
your in-game emblem that you won from CoD XP?
Oh, yeah, that too. I mean, I don't even want to get into that because I don't want to sound like a pompous prick.
That trophy come with any? That trophy you got come with land? No.
No, the trophy didn't come here, and we also didn't get our in-game exclusive icon that we were promised on the sheet at Call of Duty XP. I had a PR guy message their PR team at Infinity Ward, and
they have all the ladies on you.
They gave us the general answer for that too. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and complain. I got my check and I got my trophy after like 3 months, but
it really is all about the check.
Yeah, the check was pretty nice. I'm not going to lie. I have no complaints on that end, but
I know, right?
I really think Infinity Ward has done a bad job of communicating with the community in general. I do not agree with what they've done and how they've handled things.
I agree. And Corey, you've been sitting in the corner, kind of chillaxing there.
Letting y'all ranting and raving, guys.
No, I want you to rant. Rant with me, man. Come on,
this is our opportunity to rant. Corey Dunn, I want to hear some frustration out of you.
No, it's difficult, but I'm trying to look at it in a different light because you got to understand that you can't put yourselves into a situation where the MLG is the only thing. I've been doing a game that's been around for forever, and it's never been on the MLG Pro Circuit. It just goes back to saying that you need to just take the time and really develop the community. I really think that the COD community, I know it's been around for some time and it's been out there on the console scene, but I think that you got a great opportunity, and realize that it's a great opportunity, and realize it's not going to be gone forever. If you continue to be a great community and prove yourselves, then it's going to be worth it. So one of the things that I want to state that's kind of been on my mind. What?
I don't mean to cut you off, Corey Down, but we've been around since Call of Duty 4. We have had the most numbers on GB. We've had the most numbers on online tournaments. I don't know what else we got to do to prove to MLG that we're here and we're here to stay, but I know that I agree with what you're saying, but we've
not going anywhere.
I know, but I'm saying we have grown, and we're the biggest that we've been, and obviously that comes with time, but we've put in our moments, we've put in our years, and I think that I really thought this year that we were going to blossom into a great competitive game, but as for the winter season, we're not going to have that opportunity. But I'm just saying.
And let me just say something, though. This now is going to be the adversity of our community. That's all I have to say. Like, now this is going to show how big the community is, how well can they stick together. Corey, continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I didn't mean to interrupt you either, Corey.
No, you're all good. I think the thing is that you hopped on the fact that I sit there and said that y'all aren't a community that's been around for a while. I'm just saying that you've gotten your opportunity. Realize that it's an opportunity that you take advantage of, and that you sit there and you don't sulk on the fact that you lost your opportunity. You lost your chance to be back on the circuit. There's still an opportunity. Let's look at it that way. Halo Reach is not supposed to be on the circuit this year. Let's just take that in consideration right now. The Reach is probably not supposed to be out there, but they got their chance because Infinity Ward screwed up. So there's no reason to ever put any emphasis on the fact that the MLG screwed up in any sense. And the fact that COD will not be back on the circuit. The 3 months that we've been, so let's see here. In November was the national championship there in Providence, Rhode Island. And there hasn't been an event in over 5 months, 4 to 5 months. And whenever March rolls around, then we'll have another, there will be the first event that we'll have in over 5 months. Think about this. In 3 months, if something does get fixed, if Infinity Ward gets off their ass and starts to make changes to the LAN system, be ready and expect the opportunity that Call of Duty will be back on the circuit.
in 3 months' time, 2 months' time. There's an opportunity for that.
Yep.
I agree with you.
The only thing I disagree with what MLG has done, instead of going forward and then sitting there saying, okay, well, Modern Warfare 3 is not going to be ready, let's go back to a game that has proven itself, out there to the community, out there and showing that the viewership numbers were improved, that were better in some situations with against Halo, and then go back to a game, Call of Duty Black Ops. I mean, like you mentioned, Treyarch, Vaughn has done such an amazing job. And,
I'm actually I have a strong opinion about that. I disagree with the fact that Call of Duty Black Ops should have made a return. I think that would have been a step backwards. Stream numbers would have been low. I mean, what we were banking on for Modern Warfare 3 was the competitive community to be there, and then trying to bring fans and supporters of the YouTube community and try to bring them on to the competitive side. I know that was my aim for the past couple months. I've been putting out competitive videos on my channel. I've been trying to raise interest for the competitive community. I've been trying to just focus a lot of my subscribers on YouTube to expose them to this competitive side of Call of Duty. But I definitely think that Black Ops for MLG and for our community just would have been a step backwards. It would have not have been successful. And I think it would have had very lackluster numbers for
So
viewership.
nothing is better than something.
I mean, would we want to take a step backwards and show MLG that we don't have viewers and that we don't have spectators and we don't have teams to compete and just be like, hey, here's a lackluster year. We've went backwards this year. Then why would we want to bring on the game next year?
One question. So is this the Call of Duty community or is this the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 community?
I'm confused about that.
I understand where Corey's coming from. You see, the thing about Call of Duty on the console, Corey, versus a game that you're highly familiar with, which is Counter-Strike, is that you see in Counter-Strike when the pro players played Source, they were like, oh, this game's ass, I'm going to stick to 1.6. And then the leagues kept on supporting 1.6, even though Valve had released Source. The thing is that MLG, them specifically now, they would not have went back. Black Ops was never an option to go back to because the Call of Duty community as a whole, I'm talking about the entire Call of Duty community, they would move forward. They would play the next game, and then they'll play the next game, and then the next game. And that's just how it is. That's something that I don't think anyone can fix or change. And also, it's an Activision thing, too. Remember, because those guys got deep pockets. And if you're a league like Major League Gaming and you're running StarCraft, which is one of their deep pocket games, right? And, also, they ran World of Warcraft. And remember, Sundance said in an episode of Live on 3 one time, he said there is a purpose for them running that. He said that back then. And they ran World of Warcraft to appease to Blizzard for StarCraft, to show that they can run a very high quality and good tournament. Unfortunately, they never got to finish out their season, but that was neither here or there. They got the opportunity now to run StarCraft, and they're doing it their way. And StarCraft, Blizzard is giving them their full support. Activision Blizzard, they're a part of that company. It's one, and their two biggest IPs is StarCraft and Call of Duty. Actually, it's World of Warcraft and Call of Duty, followed up by StarCraft and then Diablo. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, Call of Duty, Activision would have been like, are you kidding me? You're like, we have a new game out. We want you to use that one. And then it just
but that doesn't make
conundrum in my opinion.
That part doesn't work because you're not providing them with a game they can use.
No, I agree with you.
If Activision's like, all right, well, Activision's sitting there going, well, why aren't you using my game? Well, because your game isn't capable of running yet. Because we can't do it. We physically can't do it because y'all screwed up. And so instead of not supporting Call of Duty altogether, because it is a Call of Duty franchise, we're going to sit there and go back to a game that we know that's done well, that's already supported, that's good to go, and then move forward. I understand what you're getting at. But at the same token, like there's many ways of looking at this. You gotta look at it as a competitive aspect of it. You have to look at it as a viewer aspect of it, and you also have to look at it as a company aspect. And you got to decide which one you want to fall into because you can't do all three.
No, I understand.
It's almost impossible to do all three.
Now, RevaN, how do you feel about Black Ops being back on the circuit for this year? Do you think that would have been a viable option? Or do you think that it would have been a step backwards?
I think it honestly would have been a viable option. I think we should honestly go with the developer that not only supports us with in-game updates, in-game patches, but supports us with making money from their game. Do you think Robert Bowling or Infinity Ward, do you think they like that we play their game for money, that we play their game in tournaments for money? Honestly, I don't think they support that idea. I don't think they support MLG. Even Robert Bowling went to a Call of Duty 4 national championship, so he knows 100% that we exist. We said this on a previous episode when Moho was here. Honestly, I don't think Infinity Ward supports what we do as a community. So I think Bondahard, he's a true fan of what we do. He sees the skill that we have, the dedication we put into his game to get better and master all the stuff. I think, honestly, we should just stay with Treyarch for 2 years until Infinity Ward decides to get up off their ass and show us some support.
No,
See, that aspect I can agree with, by the way.
That part I agree with, and I fully support the fact that we want to show our love towards Treyarch. We want to stay with what we know. We want to stay with who helped us. But you just got to look at it in the eyes of Major League Gaming as a company. They're not going to take on a game that's going to bring in lackluster numbers. They're going to put all this money into having a tournament at every
they're bringing
event.
back Halo Reach.
They're bringing back Halo Reach because
Goldenboy,
we don't have the same. We don't have the same history as Halo Reach. Halo made
listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Halo Reach, and they weren't kidding. It was like, I'm going to put my hand here. It was this close to not being on the pro circuit. See how close that is? That's pretty close. I'm pretty good at that.
One of the things right now is what the MLG is stating right now, that Halo Reach is the best shooter game in the world.
I disagree with that because you have to understand the history that Major League Gaming has with Halo.
It
went all the way back to Halo 2. They're not going to... Oh, my God. Gordon, I'm just saying Major League Gaming started with Halo. Halo was the forefront of Major League Gaming. Major League Gaming grew as a company and a corporation because of Halo 2. They're not going to turn their back on what they know and what they started with. It was the trump card for Major League Gaming. I think they're going to do it one more year to see, or not even a year, maybe one event, just to see if they can sort of revive this game that they've grown to know and love. I mean, I understand completely where Major League Gaming came from with bringing out Halo Reach again. I know it was a lackluster year for them, and I know they didn't have the best numbers, but that's what they started with. And
there were a lot of factors. There were a lot of factors in Halo's. Not in Halo. There are a lot of factors people claim of Halo not being as successful. Bloom being one of them, Sprint being another. Now that both of those are out, we'll see what happens. But we're talking CoD here, so let's keep that focus on CoD. Now, you see, I wanted to discuss something real fast about a tweet that I put out there a couple days ago about the 3 tournaments that were going to happen on one day. It was 360 Icons, Cybersports Network, and then, of course, the Game Battles March Madness tournament, okay? Now, I was very, very angry about that, and I took a lot of heat from a few people in regards to my aggressiveness with that. And the reason why I'm jumping over to this, because we'll revisit that whole numbers thing later, but I think we need to start talking more about community development, which I think is the most important thing that we need to focus on at this point, because being as how we're not going to be at the Winter Championships, and we may not even be in the Spring Championships, we have to figure out what we're going to do to support this community moving forward. That's going to be the big thing. And I said at the beginning of the show, Cybersports Network, Beyond Gaming, even Game Battles, you know, the bunch of other, you know, tournament sites that are sprouting up and trying to run tournaments. But at the same time, it's about having the people go and compete in them and pay to compete, because you have to lose a little bit of money to make a little bit of money. You guys feel me?
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree.
You know, and that's a big issue. I'm just gonna break it out. I'm devising a $2 tournament. You know, basically the idea is that each player will pay $2 and 100% of the pot will go to first place. And a lot of people seem to really like that idea. Low risk, high reward. I mean, what is it going to take for these communities, and Nadeshot, I'll start with you, what is it going to take for our community to realize that Game Battles, MLG, is not the only option? What can we do to help that?
Well, I'll answer that question in a second, but I just want to address the fact that you brought up the argument that you had, not so much argument, but discussion that you had with different websites about hosting 3 different tournaments on the same day. And I'm not sure if 360 Icons is still holding that same tournament on the day that Cyber Sports Network and
I think
MLG.
they moved it.
All right. If they moved it, then I won't even get into it. Either way, I don't think it's best to make players compete for which website they want to go to. Kind of brings out a monopoly in some ways, and it just divides the community on what they're looking for. But people do have to realize that game battles and Major League Gaming aren't the only outlet for competitive Call of Duty tournaments. You have Machinima, who is mainly a entertainment company. They started off on YouTube, and they've grown into this monstrous entity in entertainment and gaming. And Fwiz, who is he's heading up Machinima Live. They're improving their live stream. They're improving everything about their website. And they're throwing money at us, guys. They're having the Frag Cup. I think it's Frag Cup 3. They've had these in the past. I'm not sure if you guys knew about it. But back in the day, it was a lot of YouTube teams. I know Optic back in the day did it. They had D-Treats, Diesel, Nerve, and Jay. I mean, you have all these old school players that played in these Frag Cups. And it's going to be a one-day tournament and $10,000 cumulative prize, guys. That's a lot of money. That's like an MLG event right there. And just the fact that all these different communities are sprouting up and showing their support. Beyond Gaming has been around for a while. Cyber Sports Network has been around for a while. 360 Icons has done monstrous. They've taken monstrous leaps in our community to show support for us. They have 512-team tournaments every Saturday. And I know Ego's got to have something up his sleeve. Maybe a LAN of some sort, some sort of tournament with big prize money. Goldenboy, I love the idea of having a $2 entry fee for every player, and 100% of the profits going to the first place team. And man, I know a lot of people don't say it, but the amount of support that you've shown for Call of Duty in the past couple months has been, it's been wonderful to watch for me. You've grown as a player, as a commentator, and I just want to give a shout out to you for that. And the fact that you're taking steps and initiative by yourself to come up with such a concept and such a opportunity for us Call of Duty players, my hat is off to you, man. I appreciate it so much, the fact that you've done such
I'm not
support.
very good with people showing me positive. Corey could tell you that.
I'm just saying the idea of a $2 tournament for every player, that is mind-blowing to me. That sounds like a great idea. High risk, or low risk, high reward sounds great. And I really think it'll get a lot more people involved in these competitive tournaments.
Yeah, and now that's the thing. That's, I think, what we need to do is we need to take risks. We need to try these things out. But then alternatively, we need to look at the lands that will be popping up too. Now, I know that I know a majority of the lands that would be popping up here in the East Coast portion. I do know that people want to start doing things, all across the country. I had an idea to do something in Columbus that was kind of last minute, so I'm not going to do it now. But I want to explore the ideas of more community-based lands in the future. But of course, we have KOTC Nation in the chat. That's NJ Halo, if you guys don't know him, and they've been running tournaments. That's actually going to be a new one, March 17th, over in Morristown, New Jersey, if I'm correct. I'm going to be streaming that one and commentating, and I thoroughly believe that we need to get all the players out there to the events, because now that we have no LAN, now that we have no MLG, we need to start developing our grassroots. We need to hype festation it up, and they did it right. They didn't know that MLG is not going to pick them up, so they're like, fuck it, we're just going to do it on our own. And that's what we have to do. Halo, unfortunately, because I personally feel because of the fact that Halo doesn't have a spectator mode, which I think is the biggest issue for that particular game. Gears of War has a spectator mode. Thanks to Epic. Call of Duty's always had a spectator mode. We could do these kinds of things without having to worry about having high-price setups like what MLG has. So we got to start supporting those local lands. Now, RevaN, you're a New York boy, so I should be seeing you at the next one. Huh? Yeah?
At NJ?
Yeah. Just come out. Come on.
It depends, because I have bowling now, but it's ending. But on the, I just want to touch on one thing. I think for our community to, take the next step, I honestly think we just need another league to play in. If you look at the EU scene, the EU Call of Duty scene, they have 5 lands in the next 2 months. They have so many other leagues to play in other than their main one, which is EGL. If you look at their Calendar, they have so many lands coming up.
Okay.
And if we could just touch base on another game,
amazing.
If we could touch base on another game, which is Gears of War. They're not on MLG circuit either. What do? Hype Festation. They I'm sure we could put together a COD station, which I know Goldenboy has touched on before.
You know what we haven't seen? I'm not sure if you guys recall, but in the last 2 years, we've had WGC put on 2 events in New York. They've had first place be like $500, I think, per player. They gave away monitors. They gave away Xboxes. I haven't seen much from WGC.
WCG,
Call of
but yeah.
Duty. But
WGC.
I just wanted to emphasize. Wait, WC? Was I saying WGC?
You said WGC.
Oh, WCG. Sorry,
The World Game Cyber.
Yeah, I slipped up on that one. But what I'm saying, guys, is that there are other outlets for Call of Duty. Do not think that Major League Gaming and Game Battles has some sort of monopoly. You have places to go, and I think hopefully you're going to see that in the next couple months.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And you know, a funny thing to talk about is in Dallas, right? Corey, you're going to cast a Counter-Strike tournament out in Dallas, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Counter-Strike community, aren't they supposed to be quote-unquote dead? Right? Isn't that like, and yet
still hosting tournaments, and we're still pulling in viewers that are ridiculous. I mean, there's the IEM I talked to Joe Miller and asked him how many viewers they averaged. About 50,000 viewers at one point, like something ridiculous. Like, and this is a game that's dead. But one of the cool things about that I think the COD scene needs to understand too is y'all need to embrace the international scene and figure out ways to travel and pull people over here. I think that is one of the things that are missing too. But that's just that's a development over time thing. But yeah, I've got an event that I'm going to be doing on March 3rd, doing some Counter-Strike, man, old school.
Yeah, but there you go. That's a game that is you know,
it's dead.
According to MLG standards is dead, and it's not. It's not dead. It's there. It's kicking. It's alive, and that's what we need. You know, you had community-based events like Call of the Community, where I felt like, you know, there were some things that were rocky with it, but overall, brilliant idea, nice execution, and probably held by one of the most amazing and fantastic people in the world, an Aviator, and of course, big shout outs to him. So it's like there are people out there that want to make moves for our community. We need to go to those people and support them. Stop being little pansies and be like, oh my God, I'm not this pickup. No, shut up. Like, actually get out there and support it, because grow a pair and start actually supporting the people that are trying to support you. I'm going to say that over and over again. And now this is going to bring us to our second topic of discussion. And I know I'm kind of going based off of that article that I wrote, but I feel like
that was a damn good article. I read it. Everything is like stuff that I told you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, it is pretty much. But you know, you and I had these talks so much, and Nate, this is gonna go to you and RevaN, by the way, because RevaN is highly involved with the Deserto community. He just casted a Deserto live. I think it was Western Wolves versus who?
Western Wolves versus Team 4 Improv.
Yeah, that's awesome, by the way. I'm a huge Foreign Link Gaming fans, and Link Gaming for Rel, just because he's smexy. But but Nadeshot, community-based site, do we need that? Where should we go? Should we adopt something else? What do you think would be the prime idea? Should we like morph our way over to the Deserto community, work with those guys? Should we make our own thing? You know, do we need a hub? Is the question.
I noticed that Slasher mentioned that we needed a hub, that all communities needed a hub. And a year ago, Game Battles was our hub. Every pro player was on the forums. I was on the forums. I mean, I was a little immature asshole back in the day. I was flaming kids all day on the forums. I used to talk so much shit, but that showed a lot of immaturity in our community. And to be honest, we don't have that. I know Halo has the MLG forums. I really don't know much about hubs for other websites and other games like StarCraft, and they have Team Liquid. But I'm not very well versed in that sort of situation, but I definitely think right now that the only thing we have really is Twitter. In all honesty, I feel like Twitter is the new Game Battles forums, and I think that is a problem. I think we have to go to a place to voice our opinions, to see what we can do to improve our situation as a community. I'm not sure how we would go about that. I know 360 Icons, they have forums, but I haven't been on those in I don't know how long. But I definitely...
Yeah. Go ahead. Continue. Sorry. No. Continue.
I definitely do think that it would help us in a way. I just don't know how we would go about it. I don't know who would, start that up. I don't know who would be the front runner for that. I definitely think it would help, but I don't think it's vital to us as a community to prosper.
Well, I mean, I agree with you in that aspect as far as it not being necessarily vital since we've obviously survived this long. But the reference that I'm going to make is to the Halo Council website. If you go to the Halo Council website, if anyone can type it into the link, it's actually halocouncil.com. There on the bottom right, there's a tournament section where people can go on their forums and post tournaments that are coming up. I think that's a big problem that we should address because no one knows when a tournament pops up unless they massively spam it on Twitter. And that's just not a very good idea because it gets freaking annoying. So that's like one of the things. I have no problem with a site like 360 Icons being like that hub. But at that same light, though, and this is not a slap to 360 Icons, it's just that 360 Icons is a tournament website. And they have a vested interest in their tournaments being premier, I'm pretty sure. You know, they ran tournaments every Saturday. This is their baby. And I do not think that they would be okay with supporting other tournaments in it because it is their business. Now, honestly, I'll talk to Ego, see if that's something he's willing to do. But, you know, and I love Ego. He's in the chat, so shout out to him. But, yeah, you know, and RevaN, I guess we'll take this over to you and then following up with Corey. What are your thoughts on this? I know Nadeshot gave his. What do you think?
Well, if Ego's not willing to make the necessary adjustments for us to make it a centralized hub, I honestly think we should go to Deserto. If you've read some of their topics, they're willing to help us out. They want to embrace us because I believe that they're miles ahead of us right now. They have more lands, they have more organizations, more funding. They have a great community in their forums. I read their topics all day, and they're willing to embrace us, help us out in that aspect. Now, I know that there was a Deserto USA, and that really wasn't that active. I think we should just kind of combine our community with the EU scene. Why not?
That actually wouldn't be a bad idea. It would be like Team Liquid. And Corey, your thoughts?
No, I agree with everything. It's something that has to happen organically, though. You can't force a gamer to go to a certain website. I think it's something that you'll have to figure out because that's why organically it happened on Twitter. And one of the issues that has kind of fallen into place with having everybody post everything on Twitter is you're all self-publicizing. Check out my Twitch.tv. Make sure you check out my new YouTube video that I just sent out. And that's not just for your top athlete. That's for everybody. Everyone's posting to check out my own stuff.
Hold on. 1 second. Hey, after this game, can you check out my new video that I just posted up?
I'm on it, bro. I'm on it.
And guys, please just subscribe to my YouTube.
Make sure you like it, though. Make sure you like and comment.
See, and but this is what we're flooded with is just a bunch of check out this, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's all about me. How do I make money off of this right now? But you got to look at it in a passionate, more of a community-based idea. I mean, you got to support each other, and really the big thing is, if you're passionate about your game, then it should move forward. With everybody having the same common goal, shouldn't we move forward? The issue is there's so many people that say we want this, we need this, but nobody's doing anything.
Yeah, you're right. And
real quick, Goldenboy, if you don't mind, I'd like to address what RevaN said. And I love the idea of, sort of doing a merger with Deserto, going over to their community. But one thing I do find difficult about that, and the fact that StarCraft players can do that, is because they have these huge sponsors. Like, you have, my mind's going blank right now. You have EG.
Intel.
You just have all these major companies and all these major sponsors throwing monies at these players. They have contracts. They have houses to stay there and practice and, work on things. They just have all this money, and they can afford to send players to these leagues. I could think of 1, 2, maybe 3 teams top that would be able to and willing to go over to Europe to compete in these tournaments. I don't think it's a viable option just because of the fact that funding isn't there. And I mean, we can do online tournaments, but that's the only thing I can think of that would be.
I was mainly talking about the forums aspect with the centralized hub.
Yeah, no, I was completely off base there. I apologize.
Yeah. Now, okay, so we have a lot of people in the chat, by the way, and I'd personally like to thank everyone for coming out here and showing their support. Obviously, most people would prefer to be gaming, but it's awesome. So in any case, we're gonna take some questions here. and Emily has been kind enough to gather them, even though she should be doing homework. I'm kidding.
Nice.
So, all right. So the first question that we have, it says, we have 2 circuits here in Australia. How has no one in the U.S. formed their own circuit? Too much focus on MLG? Who wants to take this one?
I'll pass.
It's because the majority of what I've always seen in the American scene for the console side is you go to what is already out there, and you find. I mean, that's y'all's venue, and I say y'all because I mean I'm Texas. That's the first part, but because I've spent majority of my competitive scene has been on the PC, and a lot of our stuff has been. We grew a foundation. We first had. The Cyber Athlete Professional League, the CPL, was around in the beginning, but before that we had LAN tournaments that were all regional, and over time, for us, it grew from that point on. So we had the CPL, we had the WSVG, we had the WCG, we had the ESWC, we had Code 5.
Way too many acronyms.
Oh well, I'm just. These are all major tournaments that were international tournaments that had teams from all over the world competing at. And we had teams that were flying all over the world for it.
But
and
you bring up something
organic
interesting.
thing. Yeah,
you bring up something interesting. Yes, there were all these different acronym-based leagues. Where are they now? That's the risk factor.
No, you brought up another good point. What ended up making a big impact was another acronym called CGS, and that made a huge impact on the U.S. scene. And that's a whole different story that I rant and rave about at other times.
We'll talk about on Choke Point.
But yeah, no, we'll talk about exactly. We'll talk about Choke Point, but we're not here to self-publicize. That'd be a complete hypocrite.
Douchebag.
One of the things is, like you mentioned that that all of these leagues are down. The WCG is still around, correct? The ESWC is still around, correct?
Yes, they are.
The issue is the economy. You can't just look at it in a sense that all of these leagues just disappeared because they're not viable anymore. The economy had a huge impact on all of this. What is the first thing that's going to go? It's going to be the companies that are trying to rely on sponsorships and trying to get those advertising dollars. And it's difficult for gamers or for the gaming industry to make money off of it. And so that's the reason why they all kind of had to pull back the reins or figure out different ways of doing it or shut down. And in the MLG, the reason why they're still around is because they had a lot of investment dollars that got thrown into them, and they've just started to make a profit off of gaming.
Yeah,
and that's a scary thought.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is it was also a product of timing too. StarCraft, I personally feel, was a big save for Major League Gaming, because back then when Halo was bringing in 30,000 viewers, they were like, that's amazing, and then they brought in StarCraft and they were like, holy shit. So it's kind of like,
got the dick.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it sucks that obviously we take a backseat to StarCraft and their massive success. That's why I'm in this mode that I am right now, like this determined community development mode, because I think that people are just losing sight on what needs to be done, on what we can do moving forward. So now RevaN and Nadeshot, mostly RevaN, that quiet bastard all the way in the corner. So we're going to be taking in more questions from the chat, unless everyone's going to spam Infinity Ward. But because I'm just seeing it pop up in the chat, looks weird.
I have a bunch here for you guys.
Okay, shoot, Emily. Let's go.
All right, this one was directed.
Shoot, Emily. That's just so wrong.
This one was directed directly towards RevaN and Nade. People want to know, what do you guys think about elite U.S. teams traveling to EU for events? RevaN, go ahead and start that off.
I'd love to see it, but as Nadeshot said before, we don't have the funding that EU teams get. They have a lot more organizations that we do. Once again, as Nadeshot said before, I could think of maybe 1 or 2 teams, which would be the Eon teams. Maybe they'll go over, because they probably have the most funding out of any other team that's out there right now. But once again, EU teams, they have a lot of funding. There's Apex that'll come over here, Infuse will come over here, Foreign's going to come over here, Western Wolves could come over here. There are just so many organizations that the EU scene has, and we just need to catch up to them.
Yep, Nadeshot. Take it away, baby.
I would love to do that, to be honest. And I really think that U.S. teams would make an impact in the European League, the Certo, and things like that. I mean, even Call of Duty XP, the rivalry that we had, America versus Europe, Infused. I forgot Excellency's team name, but we played them in the finals. I mean, we even had the Swedes talking shit to every American team there when we first did when they were breaking us down the tournament, how it was going to work. And they thought I was a sniper on YouTube that didn't know how to play competitive. I mean, just the rivalry would be there. I really think that we would bring in more viewers. People would love to watch that. I mean, who would not want to watch, America versus Europe, final showdown?
Exactly.
I just really think that it would prosper for both leagues, for both American players, for both European players, and for the company or the league that is running it. Do I think it's a viable option? Only for one or two teams, like RevaN said, with Eon. Maybe if other sponsors jumped in, maybe Quantic wanted to try it out, but I really don't think it's a viable option. Would I love to see it? Hell yeah. I mean, even if I wasn't able to compete, or if I was not on one of the teams that went over there, I would still love to watch. I'd be supporting it. I just think it would be great for both leagues, for every player in Call of Duty, and just to grow as a competitive game, to stick together as a Call of Duty entity.
Entity. All right. Now we have another question, and this is a good one. This is actually one that I can answer because I asked it myself on Thursday, right after Weekly Warfare. But the question is, I would like to ask a question. Thank you, whoever said that. Do you think a PCL or online qualifier for the season in replacement of a winter championship would make sense? Now, I asked this question, and the straight answer was no. They're just not going to do it. That's the sucky part. It's about money, and I think one of the main factors that people are really misunderstanding here, and why over and over again, Corey camera, and why over and over again I was saying it all throughout the Black Ops season. PS3 was the reason why we got our shot on the pro circuit, and that is the reason why we cannot coexist next to Halo or something of that or another, because we need the financials. Gal is not on the circuit because they are looking for the funding from other sources. That's the thing that you have to take in consideration. PS3 was the reason why we succeeded in the first PCL. No, not the first PCL, excuse me, in the first PS3 PCL, the OPC or whatever they call them, OPC or whatever. It was all because of Sony. And, I'm just going to say this real quick. It just sucks that everyone was so against PlayStation when they were, in fact, supporting esports, which is a shame. So anyone else want to kind of do you think that it should happen? Do you think that we should have a PCL? Let's take it from a player's perspective. RevaN, take it away.
I don't think online, no one really wants to play online. Everyone really hates it. There are just so many complications with coming and playing online. Nowadays, you go on game battles, you'll get host booted for playing in a ladder match for XP, online XP. That means nothing. You don't really get anything for advancing in the ladder except a pixelated trophy on your profile. If there are people willing to host boot for a pixelated trophy on your profile, imagine the lengths they're willing to go through for, let's say, a $5,000 online ladder hosted by MLG.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree with that, RevaN, really. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead and finish your thought. I thought you were done.
I was just going to say, not only that, but you also have hosting issues. I know ready-up servers are trying their best to try to make connection equal, but sometimes it just can't happen. West Coast host, East Coast host, but you just got to make do with what you got.
Now,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Nate.
No,
go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I said that on a previous episode. I mentioned something of the sort, and the fact that RevaN brought that up is just how much of a problem that would be. I mean, back in PCL 1 of 2010, when it was Modern Warfare 2, and it was on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, we had the same roster. You had players from Xbox 360 going over to PlayStation 3 and competing in that PCL to try and double up, win some more money. And it was myself, Punisher, the real Exile. I'm not sure if you guys know the difference, but there's two Exiles. And we had JCap on the team.
Redheaded Exile? Quick question. Redheaded Exile?
Iowa of Exile. The good one. The nice one. The one that not a troll.
The kind one. Yes.
Yeah, the really good one. No, but it was myself, JCat, Punisher, and Exile, and on both Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, we were actually lagged out on both platforms in both playoffs of the Pro Circuit ladder, and there was big money on the line. I think first place was $3,000, and we were playing to get into the finals, and we got lagged out of both. That was the fuel of the fire to make Exile quit. Punisher quit after that. JCap and myself, we broke up as a team due to frustration. I cussed him out. It just causes so many problems. It's not a viable option. I mean, I used to play with Felonies, and he used to rant on about lagging people out. His clan tag was Kane, short for Cain and Abel. He used to screw around with it all the time. There's many people in this community that will do it for fun. It's just not an option for us. It won't be fair competition. It won't be fair. I think I said that right. But either way, I just don't think it's a viable option.
All right.
Well, all right. One more viewer question before we take a break. We're going to go ahead and get Ego in on this discussion. All right. I'm not sure who wants to take this one, but what do you guys think is more important, the prize money or the amount of teams that show up to an event?
Definitely the amount of teams.
Yeah, the amount of teams.
I think it's neither. I think it's the viewers, to be completely honest with you. I think the viewers is what's more important than anything else.
Oh, obviously. Definitely.
Yeah.
I was just answering in the context of
entirely. I think that if you have a number of teams, the reason why they're there is because the money's there. For sure, if the money's there, the teams are going to be there. You're telling me that I'm going to offer, a ton of money and no teams are going to show up? Like that just doesn't make any sense.
There's definitely different ways that you can view that and different perspectives from the players' perspectives. True players that aren't there just for the money and they want to be there for the growth of esports. They want to see the number of teams, but for sponsors, you want to see the number of viewers. For the company itself and other sponsors, you want to see bigger prize money so that they can get even more sponsors for their company. There's just too many different perspectives that you can look at that to give a straight answer, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Ernest Lee, before we jump into the commercial, Ernest Lee is in the chat, one of the guys from Twitch, an amazing dude, by the way. He said something very interesting, that it's prize money, viewers, and players. It's a chain effect, basically.
Yep.
If you look at it, it's like the players will play if there's money, the sponsors will sponsor it if there's money involved, and then you have the viewers will watch because the players are competing for a certain amount of money. That's a lot. Like look at CoD XP. CoD XP was insane. That stream was so wildly successful, which baffles my mind as to why Infinity Ward will not continue supporting it. But we already talked about that, and we can go on that for days. But it's just that it's crazy to think that something like Hot XP where $1 million is up for grabs. So many people watched that event. And to just think that if we had something that could, I think the Frag Cup is probably going to be the next biggest thing that we're going to have. And I think we need to continue to build upon that and really, Machinima taking charge, I think it's fantastic. And I just hope that we can just continue to build and grow, and I think that's just the biggest thing. But anyway, we are actually going to go to a quick commercial break, I believe, Emily? Or are you there, homie?
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to bring Ego back as soon as we're back live.
All right, cool. So we'll take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pro Call, ESFI. It's where it's at.
Go.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Goldenboy FTW here. Roll call. I'm joined by Corey Dunn, Nadeshot, RevaN, of course, the always sensational Emily. And we have a special guest with us today. His name is Mr. Paul Ego. I don't know his last name, Magna. I guess that's it. Magma. Mr. Magma. Ego, what's up, baby girl? How you feeling?
I thought I was the sensational one, but then he said Emily's name. I was kind of
Emily's the
disappointed.
sensational one. Ego,
You
you
gotta
were
stop
not.
hitting on my girlfriend. It's weird.
I am a married man, sir, and I'm being very polite, okay? Jeez. Anyway, Ego, how's it flying, buddy?
Awkward.
Everything
It's going good, dude. I'm just gonna
That was
smash
just a joke.
questions right now because I was really listening to what you guys were talking about, and I've always kind of promoted the idea of a hub, but this is a question for everybody, the chat, everyone on here. What can an organization do to make our site a better hub? Like, I feel like we try so hard to do much, or do so much, and at times I feel like we even do too much because there are so many unappreciative players out there, and so many players out there that just preach MLG or die. So what can you do, or as a company, to make the players more supportive of what you're trying to do for them?
I just want my damn Microsoft points, Ego. And no, I'm kidding. The fact that you run 512 tournament teams every Saturday is honestly insane. I definitely think 360 Icons should be having and receiving more support than they do. I used to use your forums, but obviously they weren't that active, so I kind of just drifted off, and I think that was the case with everyone. But I think 360 Icons is the front runner to be a hub Call of Duty, and I think it already is. I mean, just the fact that what you've done in the past couple of years is insane, and I'd like to give a shout-out to you because I really appreciate it.
I think if I could take this before RevaN and Corey jump in, I think that I don't think that there is an issue with 360 Icons being a hub. I would like to see that happen. You know, and if you want like blunt criticism, I have no problem giving you the blunt criticism, Ego, because you know I love you, and I want to see you succeed, and I want to see 360 Icons succeed as you guys have been. But what needs to happen is that there needs to be a place where people can go to learn about Call of Duty in general. You know, and not just what is going on in 360 Icons, you know? And I think that is something that we need to visit, you know, and talk about, because I would like to see 360 Icons be a hub for competitive Call of Duty. I think it could be. I think that, you know, you guys running the tournaments and all that stuff definitely sets you up for that. But there also is some issues. The forums, you know, they aren't too active, which if more people join in, they can get it active. You know, moderators, I guess, having to, you know, be a little bit more professional, if you will. I'm not saying they aren't now, but I'm saying that's what we would need moving forward if a lot of people join in. There's just a lot of things that need to happen, but it also needs to have the backing of the players. And this is the last point I'm going to make. When I wrote that article, the one thing that disappointed me the most was only a select few of our top players had retweeted it or even mentioned it to their followers, the people who follow them. And that's very disappointing, considering that we all compete and love and share that passion for the same game. And yet, you know, maybe if you didn't agree with it, fine, but I would have at least liked to have heard that. And it almost feels as if now we're in a rebuilding phase, and our top player, most of our top players, you know, say for like Optic and, you know, Envy and whatever, you know, Nadeshot's doing with Nation and all that stuff, and LVG, they're gone. So we got to figure out what we're going to do as far as reaching out and getting the endorsement of the entire Call of Duty community, including the top players.
I think the top players are so important, and we lack it so bad. Leadership from top players, if you'll notice. Nobody steps up in any major topic. Rarely do you see multiple top players, you know, put in just even their just opinion out there on topics. Like, people just need to get more involved. So many people just don't have that care. But one thing I think has been a positive about MLG not picking us up for the winter season is that it kind of has given people a little bit of that motivation. I've seen, people hit me up personally, Rambo, a couple other guys, just like wanting to do things, wanting to, bring positivity to the community, and we just need more of that. We need more people to just kind of, show that they care about Call of Duty, whether MLG picks it up or not. Because in reality, if they do care and MLG doesn't pick it up, we can still make it work. But if nobody cares, then it's pointless.
Yeah, and Corey, since you're having fun with your camera there, what are your thoughts on that?
No, it's something that we've already touched base on, and I think that everything that we've kind of said before, like we need everybody to support one another, and we need the pro players, to really take initiative and stop self-publicizing themselves and trying to make them, you can't get bigger. I'm going to break it to you right now. You won't get bigger if the community is not bigger. Like, if you just think about it, if the community expands and you're the top player at the time, then your numbers will go up and you actually will make more money. So might as well start supporting your community as is.
Yep.
If I could go back to Ego's original question, which was how do you make 360 Icons a better hub? I think the answer to that is information. Put up a calendar on there with every online tournament. Put up, like Team Liquid has, just model it after Team Liquid. All the player streams, pro player streams are on there. Whenever they go online, you see when they're online. If I want to know how to get better at StarCraft, where do I go? I go to Team Liquid. I go to their strategy sections. I see new builds and stuff. If we have pro players, post up some of their line of sights that maybe not all the public players know, maybe how to get up to a new spot, maybe if you plan to bomb on a certain, point spot on the bomb site, maybe it's more advantageous. If we just all come together and just put up different content on Ego's website, and if it's all supported, I think that would help out a lot.
I agree with you
The thing
there.
is, right now, from my point of view, what is there for us to have any coverage of? What content could I have?
But there's so much, though. That's the thing.
He's not talking about news. He's talking about updates on what's going on around the community. Like, if there's a tournament going on, sit there saying it doesn't, even if it's not your own. If there's another tournament going on, just state it and let people know.
We have so many amateur teams out there want to make a name for themselves. Pick them aside. Talk to them, right? We could, remember when MLG used to do those timeouts? Why can't we do that again? But we do it on our own, and we ask the questions that people want to know, as opposed to just being, safe with it. We ask the hard-hitting questions. Like we can talk to a guy like Proofy. I hope he doesn't take offense. It's like, Proofy, you're a reality show star. Why you sketch all the time? Like, ask those questions. These are things I think people want to know. And like, talk to Proofy. Talk to all these top players. We need to get them involved. We need to put aside the egos and just, ironically enough, sorry, ego. But we need to actually start uniting, and it is going to start with a few select members in the community. I think what we have right here is a perfect start. This is going to get the conversation, because this is exactly what happened with Halo Council. It was a few people that got the conversation going, made some noise, and now look where they are. Yeah, they could get better, but we're already in a position to make something happen, so let's just do it. Let's actually unite together. All the amateur teams that follow me, all the amateur players that follow me, all support everything that I'm saying, and I'm willing to work with them. And if everyone else is willing to work with those players out there that want to compete, and show up in the community, and then everyone here, we could do this and we can make it happen. And if 360 Icons wants to be on the forefront of that, then we can make that happen. We need to endorse it. We need to be public with it. We need to talk about it consistently, and I guess, posting on those forums and raising interesting discussions and creating new content. ESFI is creating content. Like, we just got to do it. But everyone, it can't be selfish. We can't be selfish right now. That's it. That's all I have to say. I'm going to stop ranting. Fading away. That's it.
No, everything that Alex just mentioned, you want to know how the Counter-Strike scene grew, is because we had Godfrag.com in the U.S. And Godfrag is where we posted all of our comments. We knew about every tournament that was going on. We had a way of being attached to our pro players, because we could watch their videos that they posted. We could watch highlight reels and all that stuff. It just goes to show you, if you have a central hub, on how big of a deal it can be, because it's easier to sit there and find information and know where to go and understand the community a lot better by having one place to go to. And that's the whole purpose of what Alex has been trying to say. It's just, where is that going to be? And, you know, it's one of the things that it will grow organically if people start to say, hey, man, check this place out. Check this place out. You can't have, the issue is you can't have a number of you can't have a number of places creating these, though. So you can't have like 10,000 different places. Like, everybody has their own YouTube channel. Everybody has their own Twitter account. Everybody has, you know, you've got to have one location. Then you can start to grow that from that point on. You can start to spread out. I mean, shoot, if you want to take advantage of the fact that, you know, Nadeshot has a YouTube channel and he's been producing, you know, he actually produces some quality stuff compared to most. You can sit there and link his YouTube videos inside the website that also has some information that correlates with that YouTube video. But it all has to, everything has to have a purpose at the same token.
Yep,
so,
you're right.
There you go.
Thank you for that compliment, Corey Dunn.
I did my one rant. There we go. We're done.
Yes, Corey got it.
Rants are fun, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. I enjoy ranting.
YouTube that's called Dunn Rant. You should. No, I'm just kidding.
Eagle, you want to rant? Go ahead, baby. Make it happen.
I don't really have a rant, but for some reason, when people say hub, they always talk about forums. Like forums were so essential for so long, and like we did use the shit out of Game Battles forums. But like I look at my forums right now, or the Icons forums, sorry, and I try and give myself, I try and think of ways I can give myself as a player incentive to post, and it's impossible. Like, there really is not anything good on our forums right now from any Call of Duty player's perspective.
If I could just say something, okay, Ego.
Let RevaN, please.
I'm gonna do something, and hopefully I start a revolution. On 360 Icons, right after this show's over, I'm going to start an Ask Me Anything thread on your forums.
This ain't Reddit, RevaN. What do you think this is, man?
Why not? Reddit has a huge fucking community. Why don't you bring those questions over 360 Icons? I'm going to write an Ask Me Anything where you can ask me anything, except for, you know, stupid questions like, well, how big's your dick? Like, if you ask me anything. All right?
Send the questions, and then the idea will be dead. Right?
I'll do one too. Shit, I don't know if you want to talk to me.
Not happening. I'm gonna
no one wants to ask Corey anything. All right. Well, I think this is going to close it up, but you know, obviously, lots more to come. You know, I know that I will continue to do the hustle and the grind, and I think everyone should out there as well, because it is essential. And the fact is that Call of Duty is not going anywhere. So I think everyone kind of needs to get that out of their head, that without MLG we can't survive. We've obviously proven that we can. Let's continue to build on this. Let's continue to support shows like Roll Call and all these other things, and hopefully we can continue to grow. So on behalf of myself, I'd like to thank you guys out there. And a last shout out, I just want to say just thank you to ESFI for hosting this, and Justin. So guys, any last shout outs? We'll start with RevaN, then Nadeshot, then Corey, and then Ego, and then we'll close it up. Oh, and then Emily too, if she wants to say anything pretty. So
shout out to everyone who's being unselfish during this time period. As Goldenboy said before, this is our rebuilding stage. We really need to come together and show the strength of this community, because I know it's bigger than 350 viewers right now, and I think it's time that we show it.
All right.
Yeah.
Nade?
Shout out.
He has ADD so bad, he's just stuck on the follower thing right now.
No. Shout out to ESFI for having me for the third time, I think it was, and go follow me on Twitter and subscribe to me on YouTube. And
oh, sweet.
I'm just kidding. Shout out to Emily K for being the most beautiful girl in the world. I'm out.
Told you.
Oh, that's so sweet. All right, Corey, I just want to hear you talk one last time.
No, I want to thank ESFI for taking the name Roll Call, the show name that I created on the first go around of this show. So I'm happy that this is still in existence and still trying to cause a ripple in the Call of Duty community. And you know, I also do a show called Choke Point, and no, it's not with ESEA News. I know that was posted in the beginning, but it's strictly just me and Jimmy Wisenhunt. We do it on Sundays at 5 p.m. We talk about team first-person shooters. Alex Mendez, or better known as Goldenboy, has hopped on there, And for me, like we've been trying to sit there and try to support the Call of Duty community. My main focus right now is I want to support team first-person shooters because something that has been so predominant in the past with Counter-Strike, with Quake team games, as well as Call of Duty in the PC world, as well as Halo 2 whenever it was in its domain. I want to see that back again because I'm tired of these damn RTS games showing us up and what we know is a better venue. That's going to be. That's right. So, I've been done my fair share, and I think that it's time for us to rise again. No, I don't know. I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm gonna go eat. Peace.
All right. Well, again, I wanted to thank all of our guests and all of the viewers for tuning in tonight. We appreciate what you guys are all doing to help grow the community. Now, if you are a fan of Roll Call, be sure to hit the follow button on the stream. Also, give us a follow on Twitter to stay updated on our episodes. ESFI is also looking for writers, editors, video makers, and graphic designers. If you are willing to help us in our vision and have some experience, we'd love you to send your application in to Justin. The email address is justin@esfiworld.com. We'll link it in the chat for you. That's all, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks so much. Have a great night.
No more supermodel applications. We already got one.